Welcome to Aesthetically Educated. I am Jennifer Buck and the owner and founder of Academy of Aesthetics and Laser. I am going to help you set up your practical kit. So I am so excited. We have already put on the screen the list of supplies and the way they should be labeled. Now I'm going to go through each individual bag and the whole kit so that you can see what that's supposed to look like. The thing that I want you to have in this bag is your mannequin pen. It'll be labeled pre-sanitized implements. So the next bag we're going to be looking at is pre-exam setup and disinfection, okay? So it needs to say pre-sanitized on the label on the front of the gallon Ziploc bag. Inside, you're going to have your EPA spray bottle labeled, a Ziploc bag of paper towels. I always say 4 or 5 in here. You're gonna have your blood spill kit, labeled blood spill kit. I always put 2 pairs of gloves, 2 alcohol wipes, and at least 2 Band-Aids in here, okay? Your hand sanitizer that you'll use throughout. And I do it the old school way of a trash bag labeled trash bag and tape. So there is another way to do it that some people choose to do, and they have those disposable hampers. They label that trash and they put a trash bag into that. That is another way to do that as well, but it just doesn't quite fit into this Ziploc, and I'm old school and it's just easier for me. So I know there's different ways to do this, and my way isn't the only way, but it is the way that I teach it. So I know that my class passes this way, and that's what the goal is. The end goal is for us to all just do well and do well on the practical. Moving on to the next bag. Inside of every bag, you're gonna have 2 paper towels. So they can either be the Z-fold paper towels or those paper towels that you get from the grocery store. You can just fold them in half or however you like, just to make sure that they go in the quart-sized Ziploc bag neatly, if that's what you choose to put them in. In that first one, the very first part of the kit, they do go in a quart-sized Ziploc bag because those will stay out on the table. But I leave these loosely in my gallon Ziploc bags. I just keep a couple in each one, and you'll see why when I do the TDLR prep and I actually show you the entire thing for the practical later on. Inside this bag of cleaning service, you will also have a quart-sized Ziploc bag, not labeled, of cotton rounds. You will also have eye makeup remover, labeled eye makeup remover, and facial cleanser, labeled facial cleanser, okay? So all those items are in the cleaning service pre-sanitized implement Ziploc. So we're gonna put this back in here in this gallon Ziploc. And then we're gonna move on to the next bag. I'm not sure if you've noticed this, but I am going in the order that PSI has the test in. So every single bag I'm doing is in order, and that is how I want you to put it in your kit. Moving on to the next bag. The next bag is steaming service. So that bag will be labeled steaming service pre-sanitized implements, okay? It's a gallon Ziploc bag. Loosely in here we have the paper towels. A little bit redundant, right? Pre-sanitized damp towel. So on the day of the exam, you will dampen this towel and you will put it back in here, wrung out very well, so that you can use on the day of the test. So just keep a dry one in there while you're practicing for your practical, okay? But this bag needs to be labeled pre-sanitized damp towel. So we're gonna put these items back in here, and then we're gonna move on to the next section. So the next bag is massage service pre-sanitized implements. You will have that label on the front. You can use a label maker or write it in Sharpie, but just make sure your handwriting is legible. So again, you're gonna see the redundancy of the paper towels, 2 or 3 of them, some cotton rounds in a quart-size bag, do not label this, and your massage lotion. So massage surface, pre-sanitized implements. We're gonna put all this stuff back in and move on to the next one. So the next one is mask and moisturizing service pre-sanitized implements, okay? So inside this gallon Ziploc bag, we're gonna have a quart-size Ziploc bag with cotton rounds, not labeled. Our paper towels, of course. Some spatulas. You can use a facial spatula, you can use the wooden sticks, tongue depressors. You can use whatever you would use for a mask, truthfully. Then a masking brush. I also like to put this in a quart-sized bag and not just leave it loose in there, so just everything is separated and kept nicely. And then here in this bag, it's labeled damp towel pre-sanitized, okay? So you can just put a damp towel in there, but I also like to pre-moisten some sponges and keep them in there as well, just in case I need them. Then we have toner. You can put this in a spray bottle or in these like little click bottles like this. But I like spray toner, and so this is what we chose to use here. Then we have this bottle labeled moisturizer. Last but not least, we have facial mask. I like to tell my students to use some sort of a mask that has some sort of a color, so that it is different skin tone from the mannequin, just so that it can be seen. What those proctors are looking for is to make sure that you have a neat application, that you are really applying it on the whole face. And so we want to make sure that there's that color differentiation, not clear, not, you know, skin toned or flesh tone, but in fact, maybe like avocado or a charcoal in color or blue in color, something that there's a contrast so that they can actually see that you're as amazing as you are and putting it on and taking it off. So we're going to put all this stuff back in this bag and we will move on to the next bag. The next service we're doing is wax service using soft wax pre-sanitized implements. So in this little bag here, we have paper towels. We have muslin in a quart-sized Ziploc. We also have cotton rounds in our quart-sized Ziploc and gloves. So let me tell you why I like to have 2 pairs of gloves in here, is just in case you drop one. That's the first thing. The second thing is I tell my students I want them to roll up the gloves tidily, and that is so that you know this is one pair, this is a second pair, and they sit in there separately. So just in case you're fumbly fingered that day, you have 2 very separate pairs of gloves that you can pull from, and in case you drop one or both of one set, you still have a second glove set that you can put on. So I like to make it foolproof. I did have a student once drop a glove on the floor. So astringent, antiseptic, small popsicle sticks because we are going to do an eyebrow or some small part right on the face. And Vaseline labeled mock wax because or petroleum jelly, because we are not using real wax of any form during this service. So we have the mock wax labeled, the antiseptic, astringent, small popsicle sticks, 2 pairs of gloves in a quart-sized Ziploc, not labeled, cotton rounds, not labeled, in a quart-sized Ziploc, 3 or 4 pieces of muslin in a quart Ziploc, and your paper towels in your wax service using soft wax pre-sanitized implement bag. our final bag for today is blood exposure incident service pre-sanitized implements. Okay, so in this gallon bag, you have paper towels. You have 2 pairs of gloves in your quart Ziploc. You have your quart-size Ziploc labeled trash bag, and inside, if you have access to a biohazard bag labeled biohazard, that would be fantastic. But if you don't, a red Ziploc with a biohazard, either written in Sharpie or on a label maker, and you can put this in here, okay? We'll explain how to use this all in another video where I show you a mock practical exam. Then this blood exposure kit. So these are like a travel, like hard soap dispenser. You can get all of this at the dollar store, Five and Below, Walmart in the travel section. And so in this blood exposure kit here, we're gonna have 2 pieces of individually wrapped gauze, couple alcohol prep pads, and couple Band-Aids, okay? So yes, you had one similar at the beginning, it didn't have gauze in it. And then you have this one. And so we're gonna put it all back in the bag. Blood exposure, trash bag with biohazard, red bag inside, 2 pairs of gloves in a quart-size Ziploc, and your napkins. Your kit is made. So I also want to show you that I like to use this bin. It opens at the top, and on one side it should say clean, and on the front side you should be able to see my little sign there that says pre-sanitized on it. I hope you're able to see that. Pre-sanitized. And so I like to use this kind. There's also the kind of bin here that opens and the lid comes off like that. It's a little bit more cumbersome, a little harder to manage. Duffel bags are also acceptable. So stay tuned for the video where we are gonna do our practical mock, and I hope to answer any further of your questions there.